Hey bitches, this is Morgan.
And this is Sierra.
And she's not ready for any of this.
Part 2.
This is Bitches and Murders.
Okay, bye.
Oh, she's ready to leave, but she's trapped here with me and Alexander Pichushkin.
Why do you keep going for the Russians, man?
The ultimate neckbeard. He's still alive. I should not be saying these things.
He's got a real... Oh, he's still alive?
Oh, yeah, he's...
Oh, I'm gonna keep my comment about his neckbeard to myself.
I mean, it's literally a neckbeard. It comes down from his sideburns and just on his chin. It doesn't touch his face at any point. It is literally a neckbeard. Don't come for me.
If you donate to our Patreon, I will share my comments about his neckbeard.
God, he looks like a weeaboo.
There we go.
He really does. Okay, anyways. Alexander Pichushkin, also known as the Bitsa Park Maniac, or my personal favorite, the chessboard killer.
Bye. Just, nope.
Okay, so
No.
he was born April 9th of 1974 in...
And he was stillborn. Bye.
Mitishchi?
Bless you.
Moscow. It's in Moscow. Back when there was like a Soviet Union. Please don't make me say these names. They're going to be really bad. I'm so sorry. I'm not Russian. I don't know why I keep picking Russians. I'm not Russian. Next week, I promise he's English and I can say all of the names involved.
I snorted.
Yeah, you snorted aggressively, but I appreciated it.
Oh my God.
So he actually was originally a wonderful child. Very sociable, very sweet. He was perfect.
I feel like you're lying to me.
And then he fell backwards off of a swing, and like the swing came back and it hit him in the head, and it severely damaged his frontal cortex. So if you don't know like much about the brain, so like the frontal cortex, it's mostly like the seat of everything that kind of like makes you. Mm-hmm. Like it's a lot of like all of your higher order thinking.
It's where your reasoning sits.
Yeah, your reasoning, kind of everything like that. So like with how damaged his frontal cortex was, like it pretty much ruined all of his impulse regulation and all of his like ability to control aggression. So like kids' skulls are also not very thick. Like, they haven't had time to develop. So, like, he got way more damage than, say, if this would have happened to him at, like, 15 or 16.
Moral of the story, don't let your kids have head trauma. Looking at you, Mom.
Yeah, so he became extremely hostile and aggressive after this. Like, so he, like, so bad to the point where, like, he had to leave his school and be transferred to a school with kids with, like, learning disabilities. Because, like, his behavior was out of control and, like, kids would just bully him nonstop.
Oi.
So, like, yeah, like I said, like, he was bullied just, like, insistently, which obviously didn't make him feel better. It only made his rage significantly worse.
Wow, I am shocked.
But his grandfather, like, after a while of being at, like, the School of Disabilities, like, his grandfather was like, this kid's not dumb. Like, okay, first of all, I'm going to preface, schools and classes for children with disabilities are not because children with disabilities are dumb. They just need specialized learning tools and like strategies to help them learn the same materials. Maybe it's slower or maybe, you know, they have time for like, you know, other things, whatever. But his grandfather did the normal thing back then and was like, this kid isn't stupid. Like, why is he in this school for learning disabilities? And he felt like he was being held back. And so he took him just out of his mother's house and he was like, I'm going to take care of this kid now. Took him in and like he really encouraged him to like try. He put him back in regular school, like really encouraged him to try like new activities.
Okay.
So he taught him how to play chess. And he was like really incredibly good at chess. Like he would take him to like, you know how like in the movies you always see like at the parks where they have chessboards and there's like old men playing.
Yeah. He
would do that all the time.
Oh, good.
So like he would do those like, they're called exhibition like games or whatever. But like when he got back to regular school, like he was just back to being bullied mercilessly. And then right at the end of high school, his grandfather died. And, he like really loved his grandfather. So like he didn't really like deal with that very well. Mm-hmm. And he became a raging alcoholic.
Oh, good.
He like went back to his mother's house and just became like a huge raging alcoholic. At like literally like 16. So he was still playing chess, like, at his home and at the park. That was, like, his main hobby. But at this time, he started another hobby that nobody knew about.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, yeah, you're really going to hate this. So whenever he knew he was going to come into contact with children, he would take a video camera with him, and then he would threaten them on film.
Bye.
So in one film, he held a young boy upside down by one leg, and kept saying, "You are in my power now. I'm going to drop you from the window. You're going to fall 15 meters to your death."
You fucking stop that right now.
Oh, there's lots of good quotes from him.
Shut.
So his first kill is rumored. He pushed a boy out of a window as a teenager. He was only 18. But the police, like, didn't think that a kid was capable of, like, pushing someone out a window. So, like, they ended up ruling it as a suicide, and he got away with it. Like, he didn't even go to juvie or, like, have a mark on his record or literally nothing. Way to go, Russia.
I'm already done with this episode.
Russia in the 70s was, like, a lawless wasteland, clearly.
Okay, bye. I'm done.
He also, oh yeah, so later on, he had a televised confession because they wanted to prove that, like, the police did not coerce him. And he confessed to this on live TV. Like, he confessed to pushing this boy out the window.
I wish you guys could see the face that I just gave her, because it's not
beautiful.
A good one.
He also would like to rewatch the videos to, like, he called it reaffirming his own power. But by the time 1992 rolled around, this wasn't enough anymore.
I'm already done.
Yeah, it gets worse. So, first of all, murders. But he was strongly influenced by Andrei Chikatilo. Like, that was his role model.
Did we just talk about him?
We did just talk about him.
Cool.
That was his role model.
That's an A+ role model. You know, most people just go for, like, Einstein.
Because Chikatilo was...
Beethoven.
Right. He was convicted the same year that Alexander started killing. And he just, like, he felt like he was in constant competition. Like, he felt like he had to also kill at least 56 people.
Shut the fuck up.
So, like, he decided that his thing was going to be he was going to kill 64 people because there are 64 squares on a chessboard. And, like, he was going to kill one person for each square on the chessboard. And that was, like, his really big thing. But later, he, like, straight up admitted to the police and in his televised confession that at a certain point, like, there was no more control and, like, there's no way in hell he would have ever stopped at 64. Like, if he wouldn't have been caught, he would have just killed for the rest of his life.
I hate you. That is all.
You don't even know. So his favorite thing to do at the beginning of his killings was he would target elderly homeless men.
Stop. Why?
By luring them with offers of free vodka. And he would drink with them. And he would give them free vodka. To be fair, he was a man of his word. There was free vodka.
That is the most Russian sentence I've ever heard.
So not that surprising that they went for it.
He lured his victims with vodka.
But, like, to be fair, he did have the free vodka.
Russia,
so, like,
stop.
You know, at least he's kind of holding up to his word.
That doesn't make it okay.
And then he would hit them over the head over and over and over again with a hammer.
Oh, good.
And then once they were dead, his favorite thing to do was to push the vodka bottle that he had lured them with, like, through the gaping head wounds, like, into their brain. That was, like, his big thing that he really liked to do.
I'm done.
So he also targeted young men, women, and children.
Oh, cool. Nobody's off limits.
Yeah.
Love it.
And he would attack them from behind in order to, like, take them by surprise. And then also so he could kind of, like, avoid getting their blood on him. Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But, like, I get the taking them by surprise thing. I just don't really see how that would, like, help. Because it's not like he, like, slit their throats or something. He also claimed that while killing, he felt like God, because he was the person who decided if that person lived or died.
Of course he had a God complex. They all do.
Yeah, which is not that uncommon. His second favorite, this will be your favorite, I already know. His second favorite method of killing was pushing people into sewage pits.
No.
He liked to push people into wells, sewage pits, and sewers. Or like hit them a couple times, and then like one girl, he had very few victims who ever escaped, but one girl actually did escape because he threw her down a well, and she swam in the well for an hour until someone ended up walking by and like heard her shouting for help. That was like one of like I think 2 people who ever escaped him. So he once said, "In all cases, I killed for only one reason. I killed in order to live, because when you kill, you want to live. For me, life without murder is like life without food for you. I felt like the father of all of these people, since it was me who opened the door for them to another world."
Bye.
Yeah, he has a lot of complexes.
Bye.
He's one of the most narcissistic people I have ever seen in my entire life.
I am done.
He also said, and I quote, that his whole criminal career was like a perpetual orgasm. Yeah, I know. Gross.
I hate you so much.
Oh, you should. It's deserved. The best part is this whole time he was working at a grocery store. Just like during the day, he just worked as a grocery store. He was just a clerk. Like this whole time, like the whole time he was killing, like years and years and years and years, the whole time he was just working as a grocery clerk. And all of his coworkers thought he was normal. Like they thought he was a little quiet and like maybe a little bit weird, but like they thought he was normal. He like lived with his mom Natalia, just in like an apartment in southwestern Moscow in the suburbs, and he'd lived there like since he was born. So like by all intents and purposes, he looked just like a normal ass dude.
They all do.
And another fun fact about him, which is actually very, very strange for serial killing, is that he was incredibly attached to animals. Like incredibly attached.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
Like his neighbor Svetlana, which first of all, such a good name.
Svetlana.
I love it.
Makes me think of a Shameless.
She thought he was like really sweet. Like she thought he was like a good dude. Mm-hmm. She once found him like drunk and like sobbing hysterically on their front porch to like the apartment because his cat had passed away. Just like of old age. Like she just passed away of normal means. And he was like so heartbroken about it. And like he also like when he was a kid, so he had this dog. Sorry, there's like a dog licking Sierra's face as we speak about dogs. But like as a kid, like his dog was like his only escape, really. Mm-hmm. Like it was his only friend. So he would take this dog and like he would walk through bits of park like consistently. So like when his dog passed away, he buried his dog in the park, which apparently no one seemed to care about, which I thought was kind of weird.
Wait, like just like a public park?
Like a public park.
Just soups cash?
Yeah, there was like a little wooded area, it seems like, and he like buried his dog in the wooded area. But that's important later. Just remember that he buried his dog in the park.
Okay.
So in 2006, he killed his neighbor Valerie Kulyazov.
Bless you.
Yeah, that was rough. Valerie. Because they had argued 10 years previously.
Okay, I have not seen a grudge holder like that since frickin' Hamilton. That's impressive.
So Alexander's dog sniffed Valerie's dog, and Valerie was just like a dick about it. And like he threw a fit and was like, "Get your fucking dog away from me," blah, 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 like all this stuff, like threw a big fit about it. Alexander did not forget about that. So 10 whole years later, he pushed a vodka bottle right through his brain. Which, you know, that's solving a grudge right there.
Okay, first of all, he killed somebody over a dog sniffing his dog.
I mean, the dude was kind of a dick. I mean, not that he deserved to be killed. I'm not saying that. Don't take that as I'm saying. But
like, Ricky and I go on walks all the time, and you don't see me going on a murder spree because other dogs are sniffing Ricky.
So one of his, like, things that he would do is, like, he would ask Oh, it's his tail.
Dog is licking the cardboard box aggressively.
It's his tail is like brushing the table, and it was like making this little like scritchy noise, and I was so confused what I was hearing.
I also
It's
love
just a dog, guys.
how uncomfortable you're making Charles. Like every time you talk about somebody getting a vodka bottle to their head, he's just like in the corner cringing.
Well, like, okay, so the worst part is, because like he buried his dog in the park, like that's a legitimate thing.
Okay.
But he would like, especially with like the old men, like he would be like, hey, like I'll give you free vodka. Like I buried my dog in this park. Like why don't we toast my dog?
What?
And people, no, that I wish I don't even have like a better way to explain it. Like he would be like, hey, my dog died. Like let's go.
Shots for my dog?
Shots for my dog that can't drink alcohol. But that's important because his last ever kill, he killed a 36-year-old woman named Marina Mosklavova in the spring of 2006. So like her body was found in Bitsa Park, like same MO, same thing as normal. But they found like a metro ticket in her pocket, and it like because they found out, they were like, oh, let's look at the security cameras. So they looked at the security cameras and they found her walking down the platform with Alexander like a few hours before she died. This is the worst part of the story. She had met Alexander at the grocery store, and he had asked her to go with him to his dog's grave to mourn his dead dog.
No.
And she said yes.
No.
She thought it was weird, but she went anyways. But she thought it was so weird that she gave her son Alexander's information, description, and his number. It kind of like a, hey, if anything happens to me, like, this is where I am kind of a thing. But, like, why the fuck?
Ladies, don't go to dog graves with strange men that you don't know.
I didn't even think that needed to be said.
Don't go to dog graves, period. Because Pet Cemetery. But don't go to dog graves with strange men that you don't know.
Exactly. So this is also great. Obviously, like, at this point, this is, like, later on. Like, this is, like, was happening in the early 2000s. Like, end of the 90s, early 2000s.
Ooh, hate that.
Because, yeah, like, his last victim wasn't until 2006. So, like, obviously the Soviet Union no longer existed.
Strangely enough.
Russia is, like, much different than it was. So, like, they were willing to, like... Well, yeah, but they were willing at this point to be like, yes, we have serial killers, and, like, investigate them. Doesn't mean they're good at it.
Hey, they admitted they had a problem. That's the first
They
step.
shot an innocent man in the leg in 2006 because people in the park thought he looked suspicious, and they just pulled a gun on him and just shot him.
Okay, Russia, calm down.
Definitely just an innocent dude just walking in the park. But they did get him in June 16th of 2006, is what I was trying to say. And he was ecstatic. He happily confessed immediately, handed over his diary that described in detail every single one of his murders, and then he gave them his prized possession.
Oh, don't you dare.
It was the chessboard that his grandfather had given him, and in each square, there was a number. So he had filled in a number in this chessboard for everyone that he had killed, and he had filled 62 of the 64 squares. I have a picture of that for you later. That's definitely going on the Instagram. So it didn't really take long to get a conviction. He was, I guess it took about a year, because he was convicted October 24th of 2007 of only 49 murders and 3 attempted murders, because he did have 3 people who escaped. One of them was that girl I told you was, like, in a well.
Bye.
And I think the other 2 were in sewage pits. I don't know what a sewage pit is. I keep trying to look that up, and I don't know what that means, but it sounds horrifying.
No, it's probably exactly what you're thinking, and it's bye. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.
So he petitioned to ask the court to add 11 victims, as the police's number was not accurate. But that actually would only bring the total to 60, not the 62 that he had on the board, and also not the 64 that he claimed he wanted. So the police, like, didn't charge him for those. But I kind of think he was telling the truth. Because, like, if you were going to lie about it, like, wouldn't you be like, oh, will you add 15? Because that'll bring it up to the 64 I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, why would you bring up a total that's lower than the number you were going for?
I am... Nope. Done.
He also claims to this day that he surrendered himself to the police and got captured on purpose.
That part I believe.
He really wanted people to know.
Yeah, he's...
Ironically, same as Andre Chikatilo, who was his role model, he was also housed in a glass cage for his entire trial. But this time it was for his protection. So with Chikatilo, it was like, so he wouldn't attack the victims' families. And in this case, it was the opposite. Like, the victims' families were like, yeah, we're going to kill this guy. Like, absolutely. So they put him in a glass cage for his protection.
Would you say that he was in a glass box of emotions?
Exactly. It also, when he was sentenced, it took them almost 2 hours. Because he had so much.
Okay.
To cover.
Wait, to, like, read through everything?
Literally just to read the verdict.
God.
So he got, this is the best part that you'll love. Mm-hmm. He got life in prison.
Good.
Not the death penalty. He did not get the death penalty. He just got life in prison with the first 15 years in solitary confinement. So that means he would leave solitary confinement at age 47. And guess when that is?
Is that this year?
No, it's 2 years from now. But still pretty fucking close. So 2 years from now, check the headlines because I feel like he'll be dead pretty soon.
I was going to say, I hope
out.
he goes into Gen Pop and just gets his shit wrecked.
Oh, I'm sure almost immediately. Like, I don't think he's going to last very long.
No.
But it was so bad that Russia considered reinstating the death penalty just so they could execute him.
Yikes.
I actually watched in all
God.
Russian an interview with him. If you go on YouTube, they have like they did like a Russian TV show, but they actually went and like interviewed him all this time like later. Like it was very recent. So experts, like obviously he was tested to see if he's insane. Experts at the Serbsky Institute found him sane and suffering from antisocial personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder, which
I'm so shocked.
is the serial killer cocktail. His narcissism definitely obviously showed in him leading the police to the scene of all of his crimes. And then they have him on film, like, reenacting all of his crimes, but like in great detail.
Why?
Like he told them every tiny, like, even like I grabbed her on this shoulder, this many like inches onto her shoulder. She turned 6 inches. She did that, like all of the details you could ever want.
I feel like that's just feeding into his ego even more.
It is. It is. But it is a Russian, like that's their standard. Like, if they can get the person to do it, they do reenact the crime because it's, like, helpful for, like, court. But he really loved it.
Hate it. Hate everything about it.
Yeah, and like I said, not all of his murders were done with hammers. A lot of them were just him throwing people down into the sewers.
Cool. That's disgusting. I hate everything about it.
Yeah, he's a weird dude. It's weird to me that was so recent as well.
Yeah,
like it's weird to think about stuff like that happening like literally just in 2006.
I mean, there's a serial killer running around Cyprus right now. Or no, I think they just caught him. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's not uncommon, but I feel like
bonkers.
All of the ones of this like nature, like this many victims intensity. Were kind of back in like the 70s just because they didn't have as much, DNA, like forensic type of stuff. The fact that he got away with this for so long.
I hate it.
In like the 90s and the 2000s is like very shocking to me.
You said he had like 62, or he claims he had like 62?
So I really do believe he has 62 because like, so I don't know if you know this about like serial killers or not, but like they're liars.
No.
And they lie. I mean, they lie a lot. They lie excessively. They lie to everyone, but they don't lie to themselves.
Yeah.
Like 99% of them keep it extremely real with themselves. They just lie to everyone else. And, like, why would he lie on, like, a private diary and a private chessboard that is just for him?
Yeah.
Like, no one knew these things existed. They were just for him, only for him, no one else. Like, why would he lie on those? Like, that doesn't seem very likely. So,
Hate it.
I think he was right to petition. I think he is 62. Also, you can't wait till you see his picture. Like, he's so gross. He's really
like,
gross.
You know that meme that circles around of, like, the guy with the neck beard wearing a fedora? Like, that's what he looks like.
That's literally
he just
him
doesn't
to
have
a
a
T.
fedora.
I mean, I would not put it past him to have worn a fedora at some point. Like, he's just he looks greasy. He's a greasy boy.
Can I see him?
Yes, absolutely. You can see him.
Oh God, he sucks.
That sums it up, folks.
He looks so oily.
Yes, doesn't he look greasy? Like, you would just be greasy, like, standing within, like, 10 feet of him.
I don't like it.
Please don't come for me, Alexander.
Since you decided to pop in, can we talk about how uncomfortable you looked in the corner?
It's the hi guys, Engineer Charles here. It's the idea that he like pops your head with the hammer and then like
Sticks things in the wound.
fucks it with the bottle.
Yeah.
Is so upsetting to me. It's the action of being like bah, and then he kills you and then he's like and just like pushes like the vodka bottle neck into the guy's head wound is just
The sound effect that you put with that just made me very uncomfortable.
I mean the whole if you really like imagine it playing out, it's so upsetting. It's just an extra gross thing to do at the end there. But also, you know what? I would like to throw in a nice high point on there. Props to Russia for not having the death penalty, right? Like,
that's
Yeah.
actually kind of shocking.
I'm
when
really
you said
shocked.
that, I was surprised by that.
No.
I also fun fact about that, because we talked about this in Andre Chikatilo, and I think it also applies here. I think exactly what you said with the bottle is correct, because he never had a girlfriend, he never had kids, he never married, he never had anything, and there's no mention of him ever even like having a casual girlfriend or like ever going on a date. It was just him and his mom like the whole time, so I kind of have a feeling that he was probably impotent.
Probably.
And it's kind of like we talked about with the Andre Chikatilo, where he used the knife as like a substitute.
yeah, where he
for-
was using a vodka bottle as a...
Exactly.
I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if it came out that, like, he made himself impotent in order to mirror... Please say the name so I don't have to.
Chikatilo.
Thank you.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's a weird dude.
Yeah. Especially because, like, you made the... Or not you, but, like, he made the whole point of being like, yeah, this dude's my role model.
Yeah, and it's like very vocal that he was like, yeah. Like, that dude was my role model. Like, I was trying to do... But, I mean, he didn't kill the same way.
Yeah,
so, like,
I
he
mean,
wasn't, like... He kind of took
created
his own flair.
MO. He just...
I don't know if flair is the word.
Yeah, that's why I went with MO and not flair, but, like, you went for it. You did the thing.
I mean, you know, he had to take a little, you know... Be a little creative.
Put a little personality
Put a
into
little
it.
personality into it. And
Oi.
put vodka bottles through people's heads. I don't know why that bothers me so much more than some
the
of the
most
other things.
Russian thing I've ever heard. Like, you lured people by offering them vodka and then smashed the bottle into their head.
Yeah, I just don't really like. Yeah, because
There's not a more Russian sentence out there.
Yeah, and I feel like the impotence thing is like the only thing that explains it, because like
Yeah.
I can't think of a single
No, that makes sense.
other reason. Well, I guess the only other thing I could think of is kind of just like a, haha, like,
Yeah.
you know, you fucking idiot, like you just followed me to get this free vodka. Like, here, you can have the vodka forever.
Here's your fucking vodka.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I can kind of see that, but like for him to do that like almost 62 times, like at that point, I feel like it's more than just a haha, here's your vodka. Like it's a
It could have been. He could have been using it as like a signature too, as like like this is my murder and it's documented
Right, like
by
this
the
is like my
vodka bottle
thing.
and the
either
Anyway.
that or throwing people in sewers.
Blech.
I'm just like so confused about how that works.
Yeah.
Like, how do you throw someone just like casually in a sewer?
Did he just stick it in, or did he? like
That
in
I
and out
don't know.
with the bottle in the head? Like, was
I mean, I feel like there's honestly probably no way for them to tell because like he left the bottle in, but like I mean, with all the damage from hitting someone over and over and over again with a hammer, and just the damage from putting the bottle in, like it might have been impossible because it described them all as gaping head wounds, which like implies that they are quite large. So like, there's no way to know if that was like, was that all the hammer? Was that the bottle? Was he doing like what you said?
I just can't stop picturing like somebody just holding a pumpkin underneath their arm, you know, and just like jamming like a bottle into it. Except it's not a pumpkin; it's somebody's.
I mean, I feel like it's a pretty
collapsed
accurate.
skull.
Yeah.
Because like also, I feel like you wouldn't get much gratification of just doing it once.
Do you think he was getting sexual gratification out of the?
Oh, I think he had to be.
I mean, he
See
literally
that?
described it as orgasmic, so he had to have been getting
Like he
sexual
literally called it a
gratification.
perpetual
worse.
orgasm.
It's just holding
Yeah.
it underneath his like the dead person. He's just like,
Yeah, like
that, just
literally.
trying to push the.
literally.
As the wounds like getting like bigger to like accommodate the bottle, he's like,
See, it wasn't gross till Charles came in. Don't blame me.
That's
for
what
this
I'm
one.
picturing in my head. That's why I keep cringing here. It's like it's worse now that you showed me the picture.
Because now
I
you can
have a
picture
headache
him.
now, thanks.
Oh,
Yeah, so if strange men ask you to see their dog's grave, I don't feel like I need to say this, but
If strange
Don't.
men offer you alcohol, don't. Just
yeah,
don't.
that's just a general rule. Like, I don't even care if you're in the bar, unless you see the bartender pour it, that don't. Just don't. But especially if you're in a park and they ask you to go toast their dead dog. But also, while we're on the topic, we're not on the topic, but I'm introducing the topic, so here's the topic.
Introducing the topic.
Follow us on Facebook at Bitches and Murders Podcast or Patreon, which is also Bitches and Murders Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at and murders, words are hard. And you can also follow us on Instagram at bitchesandmurderspodcast.com, and that's mostly where we post the photos that have to do with like our cases.
All of our super gross photos that somehow don't get flagged by Instagram.
Yeah, somehow. And also,
Amazing.
you know, you can listen to this beautiful podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes podcasts, Podbean. We do everything for you guys. You can watch it anywhere.
I think there's YouTube.
Watch it everywhere. Watch it 4
Did you
times.
mention YouTube?
Yeah, also on YouTube, which is also just Bitches and Murders Podcast.
Yeah.
Watch us on
All of the things.
all of the things. Watch every episode 4 times on
Do it.
everything.
Do
Do
everything.
it. Do it. We
Leave
love
reviews.
us.
Leave comments.
Yes.
Leave us-
Yes. Also, we found out that on Spotify and iTunes, if you do not leave a comment or not a comment, but like a review or a rating, we won't get charted. So like, it doesn't matter if you watch it like 500 times. Like if you don't also rate it, like it apparently doesn't matter to them, which makes no fucking sense.
what would be a good review for somebody to write in there?
Tell us how
Like,
good we are.
give us a template.
Okay, well, here, I'll read Victoria's.
Oh yeah, we had a really, really cute review. I didn't cry about it. It's fine. I only cried about it a little bit.
Well, do you want me to read the one that she posted or the one that she sent to me? Or yes, I guess?
Either one. I think I only saw the one that she posted. I don't think I saw the one that got sent to you.
Okay, so she texted me yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so yesterday. And she was like, I got all excited thinking tomorrow's Monday. Then fuck, I have to wait. I hate all my other podcasts now. You've ruined me for others.
You're welcome,
So
Victoria.
I
We
was
love
like,
you.
I am sorry. She's like, I just meant that I'm waiting so excitedly for the next episode of yours that I've tried listening to other ones and I am thinking to myself, like, this sucks. I've listened to your 2 episodes 3 times now. And then the one that
I love her so much.
I know. She's the real MVP. And then the one that she officially left us was If My Phone Decides to Load.
Also, side note for reviews as well, especially this is more for like, well, she's looking for that. This is more for like YouTube and stuff, but especially like specifically on YouTube and Instagram. If you leave us comments and like ask questions, tell us your theory, tell us other cases you want us to cover, tell us that we're pretty. I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. Like anything that you want to leave, I feel like YouTube and Instagram are the best places for that. You can also DM us on Instagram or Twitter and we'll see that right away. I feel like we're a little more active on Instagram, however, just because I have computer issues with Twitter. Don't get me started.
What she means by that is that she got banned from Twitter. So if she tries to log into our account on any of her IP addresses, it'll get shut down.
Yeah, so I'm not active on Twitter.
I am.
She is, but I'm active on the Instagram. We both are. So if you have any questions or anything like that, or input or anything, we'd love to hear it. And here is Sierra with that.
Okay. This
Beautiful
it finally
review.
loaded. So her other review was, it's always exciting to hear about murders and cold cases, but it's even more exciting to have hosts that can dive deep into it. Talking about the science of it all just helps make this podcast so much better than just replaying the same story we all know. Fully recommend.
Which is, obviously,
Thanks,
leave us a beautiful
Victoria.
review. We'd love to hear it. But also, too, that's really what we're aiming to do here. I feel like with this podcast in general is, there's a lot of true crime podcasts, and there's a lot of people talking about these type of subjects. Mm-hmm. And that's why we kind of do a little extra research and really try to... We kind of touched on this in our first episode, but really try to bring, an extra scientific side of it that you might not find in other places.
Speaking of medical nonsense deep dives, there's an episode that I've been working on that is specifically murders that happened in a hospital.
Oh, the Ann Arbor VA murders, right? Oh, you guys cannot wait for that one. I'm just excited to do a hometown.
Yeah, we're bringing
that's not a hometown.
Real close to home. I work down the road from this hospital.
Maybe I'll look for something in my hometown.
Do it.
Mine are all... I feel like most of ours are singular murders because they're all drug crimes.
Keeping it real, Jackson.
Yeah, just look up Jackson, Michigan. You'll get it pretty fast. But I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And if you guys have hometowns and you'd love us to talk about... You all have hometowns. I don't know why I said it like that. But if there's something like a hometown specifically that you want us to talk about, please send us a DM, leave us a comment on something. We would love to look up murders in your hometown.
Yeah. I love spooky town stories.
Yes, same. The whole the one we just talked about with the nun.
Isidore.
Yeah, a couple episodes ago. Isidore, fascinating.
Well,
Tell us
Sister
your
Yanina,
hometown
but Isidore, Michigan.
in a non-creepy way. Tell us your hometown. All right.
I think that's about it. So keep it spooky, but not so spooky that you look up to a serial killer and record your murders on a chessboard. Not that spooky.
Keep it mildly spooky.
Mild spooks.
A touch of spook.
Little, just a dash.
A dash of...
A sprinkle of
a
spooks,
tidbit
if you
of
will.
spooks. All right. Keep it spooky, bitches.